We live? Yes, we are live on Facebook. Rudy Ramirez. I'm a mentor with Washington County, and
I'm Mark Blaylock, Bridges of Change, Homeless to Work program with Washington County.
cool. All right, so we just wanted to share with you some life skills that we've learned through our journeys, and we selected a few topics, and we're just gonna touch lightly on each one of them. And the first one is practicing self-care. What do you think about practicing self-care, Mark?
Well, self-care is something that I struggle with from time to time, but as of the last couple of months, I've learned a little bit more about self-care as far as dieting. Be careful on what I'm eating because of not being very active. Can actually gain some weight, right? And I struggle with that myself. So my dog loves it that I'm home, so we get to wrestle around and do a bunch of walks. I actually get on my motorcycle from time to time, a little self-care just between me and my higher power, and it works out great. What about you, Rudy? What do you do for self-care?
Well, I sometimes when I feel like I'm doing nothing, it's really kind of like my self-care because I rest because I'm like the bunny rabbit. I'm always going and going,
Oh, yeah.
and sometimes I have to make myself stop and take a rest, go for a walk. I like to walk, um, and I find joy in music too. So I play the drums a little bit, and that's kind of like it brings me back to what I love doing, man. And yeah. Another thing is that I take care of myself while I'm healthy, so I don't have to go to the doctor. A lot of people they make the mistake of, oh, now that I'm sick, I have to go to the doctor. If you take care of yourself while you're healthy, you those doctor visits are less. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And or, self-care can be going to the doctor and just doing regular checkups. You know,
Right. Right.
I just recently did that myself too. Just doing some blood work, some checkups, just to catch up, make sure I'm staying on top of things. That's how we can care for ourselves as well. You
Right.
know.
Right. Right.
What about
I was always
go ahead.
scared of. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was always scared of going to the doctor because I didn't want to find out that I had something major and stuff. And until I finally took the a leap of faith, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna go. And now I make it regular. Every 6 months or every year, I do a physical and do all that stuff. So it's pretty good, man. It's a learning, man. It's a learning habit because like I said, at my age, I'm 53 years old, man, and at my age, sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm too old to go to the doctor. I might have this and I might have that, whatever, It's all right
Right.
here in my head.
Yep, definitely. And that comes down to another topic we got here is planning and having nutritious meals. And that's
Wow.
one thing I talk to my doctor about too. I got a list of things, do's and don'ts, and especially if I'm exercising or not. It really
Mm-hmm.
depends on what I'm putting into my body. It's really important that way. You know, uh,
Yes.
what about you, Rudy? What are you doing for planning?
Definitely. Definitely. I think in between my wife and I am the cook. We take turns cooking, but I go the whole mile, man. I cook with veggies, with everything, with spices, with. Hey, sometimes it takes me a long time to cook a meal, but you know what? It when it is done, man, it is good. And yeah. By the way, my doctor, I thought cholesterol was for only for big people, and my doctor say, hey, you gotta watch your cholesterol, man. You gotta take care of. And like, no, I'm skinny, man. I'm not. I don't have any cholesterol, but
Right.
I'm confusing cholesterol with fat, with bigness. I don't want to be abrasive with the words, but that's about yeah. And then another thing that I always implement with my clients, it's I tell them, hey, you know what? If you're smart with your money, man, you can get, I mean, a lot of nutritious meals out of your all your food stamps and stuff, man. Instead of buying junk, uh, some of the guys buy energy drinks and man and pizza and all that. I get it. You want to eat in the on the go, but
Yeah, balancing it out,
yeah,
you know. But I know, like as newcomers, people that are not used to taking care of themselves, like I wasn't used to taking care of myself when I was out there and just running around and doing crazy stuff, And when I started to change my life, did I start to be sensible towards things? But it took a little while. I had to retrain myself to do that kind of stuff, and that's like eating habits. That's like sleeping habits, right? That's like
definitely.
exercise, all of that. Just had to retrain myself to do that as well. It's funny you would talk about cholesterol. My bad cholesterol is, I mean, my good cholesterol is high, and my bad cholesterol is low. So it just kind of equaled itself out. So there could be a good cholesterol and a bad cholesterol. Did you know that?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes.
So yeah, and I didn't know that, right? So that's, I mean, I don't want to say ignorant. I just didn't experience that until it was brought to my attention. So that's,
It's all this learning, man. All stuff
yeah,
that we learn in this stuff that we never done before. I mean, I never like like I said, I my concept of cholesterol was oh, cholesterol is only for big people and that's it,
uh,
you know.
well,
But
it's kind of like this learning curve we got today. I think you and I were just talking about this. This is our first time actually participating in a live feed, just to let others know that this is doable. With this COVID-19, we're all cooped up right now. If you can't tell, I'm outside on the back deck here, and just every chance I can, I'm just trying to get outside and just breathe a little fresh air.
yes, amen to that, man.
Uh,
Okay, so our next will be setting and achieving personal goals. I really suck at that one because I I sometimes I set myself goals so high that when I don't accomplish them, I feel like crap. So I am learning to set little small goals, achievable, so that I can feel good when I accomplish each one by one, right? Same with my clients, always like, hey, don't set yourself so high. Don't set them so high that you're gonna feel crappy when you don't achieve that level.
right.
How about you, Mark? How do
Yeah, it's like
you?
setting myself up for failure. I don't know about you, Rudy, but I don't like to feel like a failure. And and if I set my goals, I mean that's why it's real important that when I'm sharing with my clients my own personal stuff, I have little goals to
Hmm.
meet one main goal. And so there's like 3 or 4 brackets where I could say, let's say that I want to continue to stay clean in my recovery. Well, what does that look like? And how am I going to do that? So for one is not pick up. For two, I'm going to have a support group. For three, I'm going to have some meeting attendance, and so on and so forth. But as a newcomer, when I came in, I didn't know not one of those. I mean, to not use, for one, that was unheard of, because I was such an addict back in the day, and I'm in recovery myself, of course. I'm a recovery mentor. So yeah, I mean, it's my experiences, my strengths, and my hopes that I'm able
Yes.
to share these, and that's what I love about my job is able to help with the barriers that they're having, because I've already experienced those, um, and if I haven't experienced that, I can always reach out to a team player, a coworker like you, Rudy. You're always there to help me out, and vice versa. And that's what I like about Bridges of Change, man. And we have a lot of supervisions, and that's where I set a lot of my goals too. And those are short-term goals. So
Hmm.
that's how my goals are working out for me. But like personal goals, it's sometimes it's a struggle from time to time, but I just do it one day at a time, really.
Yeah, same here.
Yep,
I
yep.
uh, I found it helpful for me to write stuff down because every time I said something in my mind, I put so much garbage in my brain that
Hmm.
my brain it only works at 50 years old, 3 years old. It works. Sometimes I have gaps in between here and there, so I write stuff down, and then the more I look at it, the more I'm thinking about it. It's intentional for me because
Sure.
the more I'm looking at it, oh, you know what, I gotta keep working on this goal, man. I gotta keep working at it until it's accomplished, and then check it off, and then move on to the next one.
Right, right, right. Kind of like this goal that I've set for myself for this evening, what was I going to talk about, how I was going to present myself. I can only be me and
Right.
explain what I know. And this is my own personal opinion on certain things. And not all of it could be right. Not all of it's wrong. It's just my experience.
Amen, man. Amen. So what do we think about maintaining a clean living space?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Go ahead, Rudy.
I think I'm pretty good at cleaning up. Sometimes I'm a little like in my garage where I have my tools and stuff. It can be messy, but when it comes to the inside of the house, it's our temple. So
Mhm.
we always make sure that it's clean and clean. Every time you see something clean, also it gives you a sense of belonging. This is home, man. It's my temple. So I always I think even in my addiction, I always kept myself clean because that was my mask. Even if I
Right.
was, people call me tweaker, whatever they call me, but you know what? I always looked good because I didn't want, that was my mask. People thought that, oh, yeah, he has it all together, but I didn't have it all together. It was just a mask that I worked on, because,
How, how did you work? How did you work on getting rid of some of those masks?
oh, well, by exposing everything, man, because my facade of having um the people looked at me and thought that I had it together. I finally had to, like, hey, you know what? I don't have it together, man. I'm a felon, and as a matter of fact, I like every time I went out for an interview in my early recovery, the first thing I said, hey, you know what? Before we go through an interview, let me tell you, I'm a felon and I don't want to waste your time and mine. So if you want to hire me, please give me a chance. I'm trying to get my act together. I'm trying to get my life back together. If no one
Mm-hmm.
gives me a chance, how can I maintain a job? And you know
Sure.
what? You know what, kid? You're hired, man, because I want someone in my company that is true to what they say. What
Pure and
about
honest. Yeah, honesty really helps up front, doesn't it? You
oh
know, I was a felon for a lot of years, and I was able to, I have a substantial amount of clean time now, and I was able to go in and actually have an expungement,
mm-hmm.
and I was able to expunge my record, and so I'm no longer a felon any longer. So it's doable, for a person like me that did some crazy stuff back in the day. It bridges to change. It was a bridge to change, and if it wasn't for like my predecessors, my supervisors, that I work with, my sponsor, my higher power, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. There is no way. There is no way. So maintenance on cleaning, that would be it, man. My recovery is the most important. It has to be, because I
Right.
wouldn't be any good for anybody else if I wasn't any good for myself first. You
Yes.
know, and I don't. You were talking about a lot of cleaning and or a lot of cooking. Excuse me. I like to clean as I cook, so that way
Oh,
when it gets down to the last little bit, it's not so bad, because when I'm full, the last thing I want to do is wash a dish.
right, right, right,
So
right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
I'm
think
just
some I think something came up to my mind too, like cleaning house, recovery wise,
yeah.
because I was just talking about the physical cleaning of the house,
Hmm.
but cleaning, getting rid of all of the bad habits and
Hmm.
replacing them with good ones, because if you make a hole and you don't put anything in the hole, there's always going to be a hole, right? So the yeah, so cleaning house too is very important. Cleaning, getting rid of all those character defects, all the garbage. I call it garbage, man, because that's how I used to carry it all the time.
Right. 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 Sorry, I was waving at you there. Something was coming through my phone. I thought I'd lost you. I got you
Oh,
though. So
oh,
yeah, I mean, yeah, it's it's just a better way of life today, isn't it?
oh, totally, totally,
Yeah.
totally. How about building healthy relationships? What do you got to say about that?
Um. Well, to build a healthy relationship, first I had to be able to trust, and for one, I had to be able to trust myself, on not making some wrongful decisions for one. But I think my main one was my sponsor. You know, to be able to share with him some of my deepest, darkest secrets. On what I did or did not do in my recovery or in my addiction, versus in my recovery. I think that would be the main trust issue that I had. Because anybody else, I mean, I had that mask. I thought I had that mask, but in reality, people were seeing right through that towards the end. People were just seeing right through that. And if it wasn't for my sponsor, honestly, if it wasn't for my sponsor, and my higher power, man, those are the two main focuses I really need to touch on with everything that we're talking about, man. My higher power has got me here for a reason, and I believe it's to lead a better way of life and to be an example for others, and for that, I'm grateful for the job that I have today and what I'm able to do. What about you, Rudy?
Well, same here, man. I had to start from zero too, and then um, actually rebuild good relationships because before my addiction, I had some good relationships and you know what? One thing that I didn't like is when people pull my covers and tell me the truth about
Mm,
myself.
mm.
So I
Oh
thought,
yeah.
hey, you know what? He's telling me what I don't want to hear. I don't want these people in my life. And when I finally accepted that, you know what? These are the people that are looking to the best interests of mine, right? To better my life. And then I should listen to the truth that they speak to me
Mm-hmm.
and absorb it and take it as a grain of salt and go with it,
Right.
because my thinking and my the relationship that I had with myself was really really messed up. You first love yourself and then you can love others. I couldn't love myself because I thought I wasn't worthy of anything. I just yeah.
Right.
So I learned to listen to people that are speaking truth into my life and assess the what they're saying and go with it. Pick the truth and then whatever else. Okay, you know what? I don't like discard what you don't like
Mm.
or I don't know if I made sense.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm just grateful that people loved me until I could actually love myself, and that's
Yes.
what I think I hear you saying. You
Yes.
know, and
Definitely.
I'm grateful, man.
Yes.
I think we pretty much covered all the points that I wanted to talk about. How about you, Rudy?
I think so too. I
So,
think
man,
I think
you
we
know.
skipped managing time responsibly.
Oh, there it is. That's why I didn't want to talk anymore because I
Well, but
can't
you still got a
manage
couple
my time worth
minutes.
of
Yeah.
squat.
Yeah. You know what? But that's the same as me, man. because I'm always going and going.
Hmm.
Sometimes, even if I set up a calendar for myself, I
Hmm.
overlap time. So then I'm rushing to the next block and then the next block of
Right.
time. And one of my things is that I can say no sometimes. Hey, can we go do this? Or can we go do that? And I'm always, willing to go the mile with anybody.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
sometimes I spend a lot of times that I could be using it for something else.
Yeah. I have issues with time management. I do. Even if I have it written down, for some reason, I always go over a couple of minutes or more than just a couple of minutes. It might even be longer than that. And sometimes it's not very healthy. If I'm not staying very mindful on it, it could be, you know, uh, like um, like Friday, for instance. It was fairly warm that day, and my body wanted to shut down because I wasn't drinking enough water, and so I just had to settle down and be mindful. And thankfully, I had somebody with me, and I was able to get it together after getting a little dehydrated. So if anything, if you guys are this weather's starting to change, we've been cooped up quite a bit, and let's just try to be mindful as we get out into the weather, and that we keep ourselves hydrated and plenished with foods that are positive for us. So I mean, that's pretty much it. That's all I really got. So
Cool, cool. So all in all, uh, just one thing that I got out of this, it was, take care of yourself while you're healthy,
mm,
and about nutritious meals. I don't know. Right now, I just cook for my wife and I. So instead of nutritious, it's delicious because the better, the
there
better.
it is.
So yeah,
There it is.
um, achieve some or setting some small goals so that you don't feel like a failure when you don't achieve some huge goals. Maintain a cleaning space, not only in your house but in yourself, in your heart, and in your life itself. Building healthy relationships, those the ones that speak the truth to you and it hurts, are the ones that are really loving you. They're looking out for you, and the ones that don't, that
That's
they
it.
tell you things that you don't want to hear, right?
All right. The truth can't hurt.
Right. And then, so do you have anything else? Any words of encouragement to our fellow peeps
I
in
just
times of
I
uncertainty?
just want to say thanks. Thanks for the time, the opportunity, even being asked to be able to maybe share a message of hope out there. Our experience, strength, and hope. So with that, I'm pretty much done. I hope everybody stays safe and healthy, especially with these trial times.
Cool. All right. So now we are going to say goodbye, Bridges. You guys are all awesome. Thank you for
Uh,
letting us be part of.
have a good night.
Good night.